You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Yeah. Everybody was dancing around and prancing around and celebrating like the Donald Trump dance. Ding dong, the big Bama is dead. We won't have to play them this year. They got dropped out of the top 12. Uh-oh, fart. As Dustin Hoffman said in a famous scene on The Rain Man. Uh-oh, fart for the rest of college football, because it looks like Alabama may actually be in the playoffs. At first I didn't think my team deserved to be in. I was trying to be fair, and I sort of said something on Twitter about maybe South Carolina or Ole Miss deserved to be in. And then I got to thinking about it. Then I saw the Bama haters on here spewing their hate and being spastic like they always are. Yes, that's one of my favorite adjectives of all time. And I said, you know what? I was wrong. Alabama may actually deserve to be in. And I'm not just saying that because they're my team. But I think they actually might deserve to be in. And there's a few points that I'd like to make about it. So, let's talk about it. Abracadabra, Bama's gonna reach out and grab you. To steal a famous lyric and line from the great song Abracadabra by the Steve Miller Band, it looks like Alabama, they thought Alabama disappeared, Alabama was gone. And poof, like a magic trick, it looks like Alabama may be back in the playoffs, much to the chagrin of all of those Bama haters out there. But I think I got that terminology wrong too. Everybody out there that thinks they're Bama haters and they've been drinking the haterade, it's not that, Bama Nation. It's not that at all. They're not Bama haters at all. I figured it out. An epiphany came unto me. The college football gods came unto me and they said, JPC, OCF, they're not haters. They're fearful. They're Alabama fear mongers. Y'all are just scared of Alabama. Just come out and say it. There's nothing wrong or to be ashamed of being scared. We all get scared of certain things. We all have our vices of things that we're fearful of. And it's not that they hate Alabama. It's that they fear playing Alabama. Even when Alabama is not having one of their best years and it's been erratic in a few games and they're 9-3, they don't want to play Alabama. I can tell you right now, if Alabama were to get in as 11th seed and go on the road to play Notre Dame, I guarantee you that if you ask Notre Dame people who they'd rather play, Alabama or Miami, who has no defense at all, guarantee you, if they're truthful with you, Notre Dame people will tell you that they would rather play Miami, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Clemson, any number of teams, but anybody but Alabama. So, got a few notey notes here. Old school style that I'm going to go over with y'all. Reason why Alabama should be in the playoffs is they actually have all the metrics that are supposed to be measured other than just wins and losses, because you can't just go by wins and losses. Now, I could understand if Miami had only lost one game and Alabama had lost 3. A 2-game gap is a little more significant and should be a deciding factor most of the time, unless you're like, I don't know, like Boise State or Army or Tulane, and you play in a very much more diluted conference. But yeah, there's only a 1-game gap here, and the committee's already shown that they can go with a team that they think fits the eye test better last year with the same team, Alabama, over a Florida team, Florida State. Alabama had 1 loss. Florida State had 0 losses this year. Miami has 2 losses. Alabama's got 3. Miami has not beaten not one top 25 team. That has to mean something. Alabama's beaten at least, I think, 3 or 4 top 25 teams. And one of the few teams that's beat Georgia in the regular season for ages until Ole Miss done it this year finally. But here's the thing that y'all need to do. Here's the key to all this. If you don't want Alabama in the playoffs, when the committee's fair and they drop us out of the top 12, you say they always try to find a way to put Alabama in there. Well, if that's the case, then why didn't the committee put us in there last week? They dropped us out of the top 12, so there's no Alabama bias here. Y'all just got to take care of business, okay? Clemson, don't shit the bed at home against your in-state rival, South Carolina. Same thing with Miami. Don't crap the bed against Syracuse and Georgia Tech and rely on the officials to take away a Hail Mary touchdown by Virginia Tech and look amazingly bad in all your games this year just about. The only good game that you had, ironically, that can help you is from an SEC school, that being Florida when you dominated them early on in the swamp. But Florida's not even a good SEC school. And people want to give us hell about losing to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma because they're teams that have a lot of losses. Here's the thing. Alabama's losses were to all bowl-eligible teams. Tennessee's a playoff team. And Oklahoma and Vanderbilt both are bowl-eligible. In the past, you could have said, man, y'all lost to Vanderbilt, man, it's bad. This ain't your daddy's Vanderbilt anymore. And I don't think it's going to be for quite some time. I think Clark Lee, if they're able to keep Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt will be a force to be reckoned with for quite some time. So it's just not adding up for y'all. And the only reason they may keep Alabama out is just to show that they can. So they won't have to hear all you pansies out there wetting your diaper and losing your noodle because, we don't want to have to play Alabama. We're not going to admit that to your face, but we really don't want to play Alabama. So, 2 years ago, they tried to make a point. Hey, we can leave Alabama out. They left them out and put TCU in. TCU won a one-off game, which is entirely possible, but they couldn't follow it up with another great game against top-tier competition. As we saw, they got beat like a homecoming opponent in the national championship game, 65-7. So the committee said they're not going to make that mistake again. So they put Alabama in the playoff the next following year when they had an avenue to actually do it and not just go by losses alone. Because you can't just go by losses alone. For people to run in here and say, y'all got 3 losses, that automatically disqualifier. No, it's not. It's not at all. As a matter of fact, if Georgia loses to Texas, you may get 2 3-loss teams in there. And if Clemson beats if Clemson beats SMU, you might get 3 losses of teams in there. And there's this other narrative out there. Well, if Clemson beats SMU, then SMU and Clemson will get in. Why would they get in? SMU's barely in the top 12. Yeah, they only have 2 losses, but once again, man, you can't just – if there's only 1 game difference, you can't just make it about losses. It's got to be quality wins involved too. And while SMU may have a few more quality wins than Miami, I don't think it's automatically given that if Clemson wins, that Clemson and SMU get in over Alabama. Just saying. But like I said, the committee may try to make a point because they don't want to have to hear all the crying and the outrage from all those out there that claim that they want to be fair. They don't want Alabama to always get in and get preferential treatment because they're Alabama. Well, that's not the reason why. Just so y'all know. I hate to break your little heart and burst your little bubble, but it ain't got nothing to do with that. All it's got to do with is y'all are fearful of Alabama and y'all are emasculated. Now, let's get to the 4 horsemen shout-outs of the day. The 4 horsemen shout-outs go to Tammy Burton, Doug Fleetwood, Firmus, Paradox 1, and Richard Burton were saddled up, mounted up, and ready to go, and they helped us with today's college football invasion. And that's all I got to say about that. There's a little heart option down here at the bottom of the screen, a little money dollar sign in the middle. If you want to smash that, give a few dollars, throw a few dollars in the coffers there, help keep the lights on. That'd be a great thing for me. Also, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Those are the big 4, and they're all absolutely free. Then, if you want a little something extra, you can actually join the Outlaw Posse. You'll get a badge. You'll be deputized. You'll be in the Outlaw Posse. You'll get a random 4 horseman shout out as well as possibly be the comment of the day. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.